Well, good evening. I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. This is a quick tropical update. We certainly have Tropical Storm Nicholas still spinning over parts of Texas, into Louisiana, but it's not going to do that anytime quick. It's really moving very, very slow, causing quite a bit of flooding. I'll update you on that in just a moment. While we have the wide satellite picture here in its sequence, from the NOAA GOES East satellite. You can see nighttime coming in with the Terminator line, but we also have a number of things that we're watching. Certainly here is Nicholas right here, rotating around Texas, almost stationary, throwing a lot of moisture off the Gulf of Mexico into Louisiana and also into Texas, where there's flash flood warnings going on right now. But we're also watching this area of disturbed weather. It slowly seems to be getting its act together because there's not a whole lot of shear in the atmosphere, and conditions seem to be a little bit more conducive to development over the next 5 days. So we're going to be watching this. Some of the models do strengthen it when it gets off of the Virginia, Maryland, Delaware coastline as it heads out to sea. But we will be watching it and monitoring it. Also, way over here, look at this, coming off Africa. It's already off the west coast of Africa. This is a very promising, unfortunately, a tropical system that looks like it will develop into either a tropical storm or a hurricane over the next 5 days. Hurricane Center gives it a high probability that that will happen. So interesting things might happen to it when it gets into this area. There's a lot of complexities going on in the atmosphere with high amplitude ridges and troughs. Really, it's undetermined where this is going to go. That's why we'll watch it closely over the next several days. Let me dive into GeoCollaborate here so I can keep this kind of short for you. This is Tropical Storm Nicholas as of the 5 o'clock advisory. Winds are 35 knots, so about 40 miles per hour, and it's moving very, very slowly. As a matter of fact, I have the radar data turned on so you can see where areas of heavy rain are falling. This is an area of special marine warning for this area of showers and thunderstorms at rainfall rates of 3 to 4 inches per hour. Fortunately, it's over the Gulf of Mexico right now, but it is heading inland. So those of you Gulfport, Biloxi, and southern Alabama will see, or Mississippi, excuse me, will see some heavy showers and storms. Over towards Alabama and Mobile, you're seeing some heavy rain showers at times too, but not to the level of having any flash flood warnings just yet. And then there's a little bit of a break over New Orleans, thank goodness, but the core of the storm is kicking up a lot of consistent rain. And I'll dive in here a little bit closer so you can see what it looks like. This is a flash flood warning in Orange County and also Calcasieu County, and that's going to happen until later on tonight. Radar has already picked up 2 to 4 inches of rain, and another 3 to 4 inches of rain could fall as these showers and thunderstorms move in and keep regenerating since it's so close to the center of the spin for Tropical Storm Nicholas. As I back out here, look at the how much distance it's going to cover. It's forecast to cover over the next several days. Not much. It's forecast to dissipate over central Louisiana and not do it until Friday morning. But that doesn't mean all the rain goes away. It just means that the Hurricane Center will stop following it as a tropical system because it won't be named. But the Weather Prediction Center will pick it up, and the National Water Center will start forecasting how the rivers and creeks will be rising. They're already doing that now, but it's a interesting transition of power, if you will, from the National Hurricane Center over to the Water Prediction Center and the Weather Prediction Center and the River Forecast Centers. How they coordinate very closely to keep you informed locally as to how your rivers, creeks, and streams will be rising. So here's the path that Nicholas took. You can see the wide area of tropical storm force winds in the yellow, and the red area is when it had briefly hurricane force winds, some winds gusting up to 90 miles per hour in some of the bays here in Texas. But as Nicholas makes its way over towards Louisiana, it's really just going to be creeping along, which means that those southerly winds are going to keep driving a lot of rain into these areas. Let me turn off the weather radar data so we can get a little bit more specific about how much rain is still forecast to fall. So I'm going to let me turn off the hurricane path where that's forecast to move, because I want you to focus really on the amount of rainfall, the significant weather for day 2, which is tomorrow. It looks like this area from Beaumont, Texas, all the way over through central and southern Louisiana, including all of the recovery areas like Grand Isle, Puma, New Orleans, all those areas to the south there that are really trying to recover. It's going to take many months to do that, are going to be hampered by potentially flash flooding intensity rains. And so that threat will continue all the way tomorrow and even into southern Mississippi and the Panhandle of Florida. I'm going to turn that off and show you what the excessive rainfall for day 2 looks like. And so, again, it's going to bring that down into view here. All of southern Louisiana in the red area, and also, let me just widen out here a little bit there so you can look at it a little bit more full screen. All of southern Louisiana, southern Mississippi, and southern Alabama and the Florida Panhandle have a high likelihood of flash flooding tomorrow. And also this area in yellow means it's likely about 10 to 20%. That's a pretty high likelihood when it comes to flash flood, excessive rainfall. And then as you go up into this area, it's less likely and more confined to scattered showers and thunderstorms that could produce locally heavy rains and therefore localized flooding. So I'll turn that layer off and just want to show you the 1 to 7 day QPF, quantitative precipitation forecast. We've talked about this before, and how that's just kind of a fancy name for how much rain is expected to fall over the next 7 days. So I'm highlighting this area right here around southern Louisiana, southeastern Louisiana. That is 5 inches of precipitation that's expected to fall over the next 5 days. And then when you get up here a little bit further, you get into 2.5 inches of rain, and then 3 inches of rain in this area. And so, needless to say, the soil is saturated. Rainfall, if it comes 2 to 3 inches in 1 hour or in 2 hours, that could cause some serious ponding on the roads. So please don't drive across those flooded roadways when that happens. So it looks like we're going to have Nicholas that's going to be stationary and then dissipate over Louisiana. I know you folks in Louisiana must be thinking, what in the world is going on? We keep getting pounded by these storms. That's just the way the pattern is set up and where these storms are traversing. Unfortunately, Louisiana has been a bullseye over the last several years. But we'll get through this. We'll keep you posted. The Sensitive Information Sharing Environment and the All Hazards Consortium is coordinating sharing data across multiple states through GeoCollaborate, through the Esri SICE Hub, and also through the transportation app. So all the utilities that are gathering now to get into the areas that have lost power are coordinating, and it is almost like an orchestra working together to get this equipment into those areas. And so the impacts to other states, I'll just widen out here a little bit to show you that there will be rain impacts to other states in the southeast, but certainly not as bad as Louisiana, eastern Texas, and southern Mississippi and Alabama. But this is how the rain tapers off, even going up towards the mid-Atlantic. This area out here off the mid-Atlantic is a result of a potential tropical system that I pointed out earlier over the Bahamas, that the models will blow up into some sort of coastal storm. So it'll likely kick up a lot of wave action along North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, coastlines, even Connecticut and New York. That'll happen over the next 5 days. So that's incorporated into the 7-day precipitation outlook. So that's it for now. I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications. Thanks for watching this update on Tropical Storm Nicholas and the rest of the tropics. We'll be back tomorrow with another update unless conditions warrant. Please make sure you check the Fleet Movement app for all the latest information, and certainly GeoCollaborate is going to be updating all the declarations and waivers that have been issued. The state of Texas and the state of Louisiana have issued states of emergency because of Nicholas. And that information is available on the dashboard. You can get that and download those documents. You can have them in your cabs as you're traveling across. So thanks again, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.